What's going on, everyone? It's Liv, and today we're going to be bringing you guys our SPL Week 4 game taking on Cloverbells, and this is going to be a pretty exciting matchup. Cloverbells is a very terrifying team with threats such as Hisui Typhlosion and, of course, Great Tusk, so we do need to be very careful about those, as they're very much enabled by Pokemon like Murkrow. We can't forget about the Trick Room aspect though with Blood Moon, Ursaluna, and Farigiraf, and there's plenty of other really good Pokemon that can come in that very 6th slot on the team. So if you guys enjoy and want to see more content like this, of course, leave a like below and subscribe for more SPL, as we're going to be bringing you guys that every week. With that said though, of course, we do have our very first Pokemon here being none other than Sitlali, our Alola Ninetales, who's rocking out with a very terrifying set of Blizzard, Encore, Auroraville, and Weather Ball. This week we're using the Focus Sash with Terra Ice, as I want to lean heavily into moves like Blizzard and Weather Ball, as outside of Pokemon like Hisui Typhlosion, this should do a number. Now, obviously, Cloverbells can't Terra around this, but there's not a lot of Pokemon that are just naturally resistant to Ice here, and if I can keep up the weather advantage, moves like Blizzard and Weather Ball are going to be very spammable. Even outside of our own weather advantage though, Weather Ball is still really useful into a lot of different Pokemon, as options like Brute Bonnet will still take a ton of damage from it as a good single target move that'll still be boosted by Cloverbell's own sun. So I think I can definitely get a lot of pressure on to Cloverbell's team with just these two moves alone. Encore is going to be great to try and lock Pokemon into moves that they otherwise wouldn't want to click, such as maybe Murkrow spamming Tailwind, for example, and Auroraville is just going to be great for screen support. Coming up next, we have Noelle, our Conkeldurr, with the Assault Vest this week with Terra Grass. Now this is going to be a pretty interesting set, as we have Low Kick, which is going to be our most spammable move this week, which is going to put a ton of pressure onto things like Farigiraf and Ursaluna. We have Knockoff as a great way to remove some items, which will be especially useful for any sort of resistance berries or assault vests, and Mach Punch will just be a great priority when Farigiraf is not on the field. I have Terra Grass this week, which is mostly to avoid different things like, for example, Great Tusk Earthquake, as we do actually have Counter, as this will be a great way to handle things like Close Combat and Headlong Rush, or even Earthquake from a Great Tusk, as it's a pretty decent threat to most of my Pokemon here, and having a great way to just kind of lure it in and make sure it feels as unsafe as possible will be very, very important for us. We're going to be able to take advantage of Cloverbell's team really well with this in Trick Room, as I do anticipate Cloverbell's to go for Trick Room here, so I'm really hoping that this can actually do some decent work. Now next we have Sean Yoon this week with Terra Water and Mental Herb. This is going to be a great support Pokemon with moves like Tailwind, Taunt, Bleak Wind Storm, and Heat Wave that are all going to deal some pretty massive damage to Cloverbell's team. I'm expecting this to be a really good offensive Tailwind setter to try and match my opponent's Tailwind, as we can have the advantage of both Tailwind and Trick Room thanks to Tornadus really giving us that edge. Naturally, Tornadus also puts up a lot of offensive pressure into Cloverbell's team, and I think we could definitely make it work with some very high success here, in my opinion. Coming up next, we have one of our two most important this week being Chevrolet, our Volcanion here, which is rocking the Terra Steel and the Shuckaberry. Now, Shuckaberry is a great item because, especially on Volcanion this week, it's going to be great for both our pre-Terra and post-Terra options, as they are both options that are weak to ground. However, with Terra Steel, we can actually make this into a very strong Blood Moon check, since we'll have the Shuckaberry to resist Earth Power for one single attack at least, and the Terra Steel will be great for taking hits from the literal move Blood Moon. So this will be a great way to get around Cloverbell's team overall, and Steam Eruption and Heat Wave hit everything so well that I have Sleep Talk on here in case a Brute Bonnet comes with a defensive Terra like Terra Dragon, as that could be pretty annoying going for moves like Spore here, and I don't really want to let it get that off. Volcanion is definitely going to be one of my most important Pokemon here, and I think it can do a ton of work to Cloverbell's team, as he doesn't have a lot of ways around it. Up next, we do have Tinkaton with the Covert Cloak and Terra Water, using moves like Fake Out, Knockoff, Gigaton Hammer, and Light Screen here with the ability Mold Breaker. Mold Breaker will allow us to guarantee a Fake Off goes off, especially if my opponent does go for Farigiraf, and this will be a very good way to just keep up some offensive pressure here. With Light Screen especially, this will be a huge move, as it will allow me to take hits a lot better from Pokemon like Typhlosion and Ursaluna, as they're two very powerful wall breakers, and despite my resistances to Typhlosion, that mon can still deal a ton of damage with the options like Shadow Ball, Terra Ghost, even just a random offensive Terra like Electric, Ground, or really anything else that's going to hit my team for super effective, especially Ground as it hits both Volcanion and Raging Bolt mutually for super effective, and especially considering that Murkrow can also boost those Fire type moves, so even my resistances will take a ton of damage. With Tinkaton though, I'm not really too worried, and with Terra Water, I can ensure that that Light Screen will go up guaranteed here, and with Covert Cloak, I don't really need to worry about anything standing in my way here. Finally, of course, we are bringing Raging Bolt here with the Terra Fairy safety goggles with Thunderclap, Thunderbolt, Draco Meteor, and Protect. Pretty standard set, but with Photosynthesis, we can take advantage of my opponent's own sun, and this becomes a very obnoxious wall breaker that Cloverbell's does not have great checks to. The Dragon and Electric coverage hits their team so well that I'm expecting this to claim a kill pretty much every time it's on the field. Overall, this Pokemon really helps tie together a lot of the synergy with Volcanion, and it makes a lot of the Terras that you would typically go into, such as Water and Dragon, for example, into the Fire and Water stab, become pretty much useless, so I think that this is the perfect team to kind of showcase how terrifying that really is. With Terra Fairy especially, my opponent doesn't really have a great way to break through Terra Fairy overall, so on a Pokemon like Raging Bolt, this can become a very clutch Terra overall. With that said, of course, let's get right into the battle. Alright, so Clover's going to be leading off with Great Tusk and Murkrow.
Very fun lead at the very least. Let me jot down for game 1. Hold. Alright, so Great Tusk, Murkrow on the lead. That's perfectly fine. I'm not really too concerned with this lead at the very least. So with this in mind, Great Tusk is probably going to be here clicking Earthquake if we're going to be honest. I can proceed to just go for a... I think I just go for a Protect turn 1, and then I go for the... I think I just go for the Steam Eruption here. Yeah, I think I just go for Steam Eruption right in... Well, actually, I could also just go for Heat Wave, to be fair. Heat Wave would be a pretty free click. It would be a nice way to damage Murkrow, so at least I can still punish that in case of any sort of Great Tusk hit. Also, it's a good way to scout for item on that, because in theory, the Murkrow could definitely be rocking out with like a Violate or Overcloak, and both are going to be important to scout like as early as possible. Because this will matter a lot. My opponent's going to go for Protect here, so I actually even less so mind this play, actually. Because now, again, I don't just get punished for my opponent clicking Protect. It looks like my opponent did not click an attacking move this turn, though, which is interesting. Now, for Murkrow, it looks like that Heat Wave is a Violate roll for sure. There's not a Cobra Cloak roll that actually would have done that little. We're going to see Snarl come out here. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so that is a Violate. That's good to note. And then Great Tusk is not choice at the very least because it has Protect. So that is also good to note. So with that in mind, I think my play is definitely just to go for the Terra Fairy and to go for the Thunderclap into the Murkrow. And then to go for Steam Eruption into the Great Tusk this turn. Because I'm gonna guess that my opponent will probably anticipate a switch at this point, especially because I'm -1, but I would rather just go for damage here, and if the Murkrow is going to proceed to go for another Snarl to try and weaken me down, that's fine, I don't really mind, because I'll just kill it. And if they're going to go for Tailwind, then that's kind of fine too. I'm not really as concerned. I mostly just want to try and punish the Great Tusk. There's a good chance it's Sash, but if it's Sash, then it's probably not going to Terra this turn, because if Great Tusk is going to go for Terra on a Focus Sash set, then it's kind of opening itself up to just get Thunderclap later on, so it kind of works out well, at least bringing down the Sash pretty guaranteed. Versus like some sort of bulky set, maybe it wouldn't have. But either way, very manageable nonetheless. We do have our Shock Berry. We're going to see a Terra go off, and not only that, but my Raging Bolt is faster, which is good to note actually. It is faster than that Great Tusk, which is a very important thing. So that is slower than Bolt. So that is slower than Raging Bolt before Tailwind, which is really important to know. We're going to see the Thunderclap go off. We do kill Murkrow with that, beautiful, okay. And then Great Tusk is left on the field. Not only this, but we do have a chance to burn with Steam Eruption here, obviously. So that will also be huge. My opponent lacks getting up Tailwind. That is a 3 KO, though. Oh my god. Terra Blast is going to go off into my Volcanion here. That will do a good amount of damage. Great way for my opponent to get around the Shock Berry. So, very important to note. Still honestly fine. I think that realistically the pressure that Raging Bolt provides, especially at this point in the game, is going to be really huge. What I could do here, I can kind of just go into, let's see, so they have Protect and Terra Blast Electric. My play might honestly just be to go Ninetales and just click like Blizzard or something. My opponent can't actually easily get rid of the weather anymore because they've lost Murkrow. They have Brute Bonnet, Ursaluna, Great Tusk, Verograph, and Typhlosion Hisui. I think my play is honestly just go Ninetales. We did lose both of our fire resistances though, which is a little annoying, but I can still work around this very easily. My opponent's going to go into Verograph here. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to proceed to go for... my opponent's definitely going to Protect on that Great Tusk here, 100%. That is a very obvious Protect here. And since my opponent can't really do much in the face of this, we're going to see Verograph. I am curious about how, like, how any sort of Spadef Verograph would take this. So Raging Bolt going for Draco Meteor would do a decent amount. Draco Meteor plus Weather Ball. Ooh, wow, okay, so Spadef Verograph actually could very comfortably take that. Okay, what I think I need to do then is I think I just need to go for, like, Thunderbolt and Blizzard and just kind of hope for the best. Actually, no, sorry, Thunderbolt and Aurora Veil. Because, yeah, I'll be fine to go for Blizzard on the following turn. I'd rather just go for the Aurora Veil, though. If my opponent's going to raw attack, that's fine. I don't really care. I'd rather just keep myself as healthy as possible at this point. And if my opponent goes for Trick Room, then that works out well, because Conkeldur's in the back. So I don't mind losing Ninetales even. They're gonna go for Headlong Rush. Okay, that's actually very chewed, and they're weakening their defenses, which is actually really huge for Conk. So we'll more than take that. And then we're gonna see Farigaf probably go for like Trick Room. Yep, okay, Trick Room. That's perfectly fine. So we see Trick Room go off here. So at this point in the game, there's a few things to know. Obviously, the Ursaluna is going to be kind of a big deal, but it's not anything that I can't overwhelm, especially seeing the board state here. What I'm going to proceed to do here, I'm going to go for a... I think I'm going to go for a Draco Meteor into the Great Tusk here. No, I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt. No, I'm going to go for a Draco Meteor into the Great Tusk, yeah. And I'll go for a Blizzard here. Because there's not really a world where my opponent will let me, like, not go for something into the... well, sorry. There's not really a world here where their Farigaf is going to actually let me Encore it into Trick Room. We're going to see Hyper Voice go off. It's fine. It's not Throat Spray, which is good to know. That at least helps a lot with playing around it. So, Hyper Voice, that's perfectly fine. Blizzard will at least go off here. I feel like this Trick Room spot's actually kind of bad for my opponent. Because, I'm assuming that Ursaluna's in the back. Ooh, the freeze is a little unfortunate. Yeah, that's a little grim, I can't lie. We're gonna see Lumberry pop. Okay. Never mind. It's actually Citrus Berry. I don't know why I thought it was Lumberry. Okay. Well, that's perfectly fine. I'm gonna go for this, and then I think I'm just gonna go for another Blizzard here. I'm kind of fine with Great Tusk actually being on the field still. And I would kind of rather just keep my Raging Bolt healthy now that we're gonna kill the Farigaf this turn guaranteed. The freeze is definitely a little annoying for my opponent for sure. But I'm pretty confident that Conkeldurr still had this, actually. I don't think that Conkeldurr was really at a board state where it's going to be pressured that much. Especially considering the fact that I don't think my opponent really confidently kills my Great Tusk, my Raging Bolt in like just any one move. Farigaf does thaw out. That's perfectly fine. We're going to see a Psychic go off. Okay, so we've gotten 3 of the moves on Farigaf. We've gotten 3 of the moves on Great Tusk. The Spit F drop is a little annoying, but it's nothing we can't overwhelm. We'll see Parablast go off in the Ninetales. And that's fine. I can at minimum get some decent pressure into the Farigaf spot. So I'm perfectly okay with that. And we do underpace it with Conkeldurr too, which is huge. We see Life Orb and Great Tusk. I don't know how I didn't note that down before. And beautiful, Frigg is dead. So that's huge for my Conkeldurr into Ursaluna, because I can actually proceed to just go for low kick into that. I think we'll do a decent chunk. Ursaluna, Blood Moon. With low kick, yeah, we should nearly kill it. Which is honestly really huge. We'll go for Draco into the Great Tusk just to be safe, and I'm going to go for low kick into the Ursaluna. If my opponent proceeds to go for like a Protect on Ursaluna, that's honestly fine. I'm not too concerned with it, because there's not really one move that it'll go for that'll actually just kill me. Blood Moon even doesn't... Okay. It would need to be some sort of like really, really aggressive spec set, because there's actually no other world where that kills. And even then, Specs is a roll. It's a roll in my favor, actually, which is kind of insane. From Quiet, Max Special Attack, Blood Moon into my Conkeldurr. So I'm more than okay with that. In hindsight, I mean, it probably wasn't something I really needed to calc for, to be honest, but it might have been an okay thing to calc for, I guess. Realistically, there's just not a move that Blood Moon's clicking into me that's actually going to threaten, outside of, I guess, Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam would be kind of scary, but it gives me a second turn, so I'm okay with that. And even then, Hyper Beam is actually a roll. And that implies, again, Hyper Beam from Specs, otherwise it's just not killing. Because even like a Life Orb Hyper Beam wouldn't kill. So, yeah, we're going to see Ursaluna probably get to attack. Let's see, we'll hopefully kill it with Conk. We do kill it with Conk, actually, that's huge. The low kick is going to be so impactful there. Okay, that's huge. So, we do, unfortunately, have the Ursaluna and friends to deal with next game, but that's still not a huge deal. The Raging Bolt here is cooking. How many turns of Trigger am I left? We have 1 turn of Trigger left. Okay, yeah. Then my play is Protect and Low Kick. I actually shouldn't click Counter here like I ideally would, I should say. Because Counter, I want to save it for a turn where I actually cannot kill the Great Tusk. I can kill it now. So Conkeldurr has this in the bag. Okay, solid. That's a solid 2-0 win for game 1, actually. That's really huge. So I'm thinking through for game number 2. I could probably just lead the same lead in all honesty, because even if my opponent does lead with like some sort of aggressive Trick Room, I can probably just still be fine. We've revealed Citrus Berry, which is more than okay. Wait. Oh, that means that Tinkaton actually would be a really good lead. implying that Trick can get slide, which I don't think it does actually. So probably just Murko going for more Tailwind, if anything, which is perfectly okay actually. We do know though that Great Tusk is Terra Electric, and we've revealed 3 of its moves. We've revealed Headlong Rush, Terra Blast, and Protect, which is good to know, and its Life Orb. We've actually gotten a lot of information on Cloverbell's team, because the Murko has revealed Snarl already with a Violite. We've revealed Great Tusk is Terra Electric, Life Orb with Terra Blast, and Headlong Rush. For Airgraph, we have Psychic Citrus Berry with 3 of its 4 moves, and for Ursaluna, we haven't gotten information, but that's still kind of fine. For game number 2, I do want to be careful because I feel like a Terra Fairy Ursaluna is probably incoming because it does kind of invalidate a lot of, not everything, but a lot of what I brought game 1. So I want to be careful of that. That's going to be something we'll have to keep in mind. I think Tinkaton will probably be a good bring, but we'll have to see. All right, so my opponent leads off with Typhlosion Hisui this time. So that's fine actually, because realistically, this is actually probably a much better lead for me. The Typhlosion Hisui could still be a problem for sure, and I do need to kind of keep it in mind. But at the same time, though, like, I can kind of just, like, if it's really going to go for Terra Blast Electric, I mean, let's start out with ruling that out. Terra Blast Electric into Volcanion from Typhlosion Hisui. Going for Terra Blast Electric. So that can kill, but it has to be some sort of boosting item. It would need to be like at least like a Zap Plate or like Extra Belt type of thing to actually get the kill. If it's like Focus Sash, it cannot guarantee it, and this also implies it's modest, which hurts the rolls even more otherwise. I'm gonna just go for Steam Eruption here, and I'm just gonna go for like a Thunderclap raw into the Murkrow. Yeah, I think that's my play. I have no reason to Terra in front of this with either Pokemon, frankly. We're gonna see the Thunderclap fail. It's fine, so Murkrow's clicking a status move this time. I just wanted to make sure we avoided the Snarl. So I'm okay with that, in all honesty. My opponent's gonna go for Shadow Ball here. Okay, we can at least scout for item. We take, it's a 3 KO. Okay, perfect. So we Shadow Ball, that actually means it's like not boosting item, and we just kill it. All right, I'll take that. That's huge. I'm curious if my opponent thought that we'd like go for Terra or like click Heat Wave this time around or some sort of other alternative, but I don't really mind either way. The Ursaluna is gonna come out now. I do need to respect that, of course, but I don't know how much, right? Like, so I could in theory kind of do a little bit here, and I can go for Terra Steel into the Ursaluna, because the inevitable play here is to click something like a Blood Moon this turn. I don't even know if the Terra's in front of me, because it should in theory be creeping to like outpace, right? So with Tailwind up, I mean, it wouldn't be that hard of a benchmark to hit. If I go for Terra Steel here, the Earth Power outright actually would just kill. I'm just gonna go for Steam Eruption here, and I'll go for a Thunderbolt here with Terra Fairy into the Murkrow, just to be safe. Murkrow's gonna withdraw, okay, that's fine. And we're gonna see the Furgraph come out. Okay, that's fine. That actually works out pretty well. So we're gonna see no Great Tusk this time, which actually helps a lot. Now the Ursaluna with Terra Fairy did end up coming. That's still a little bit annoying for Mon, but I have a game 3 line into this worst case scenario. We're gonna probably see, if I had to guess, I feel like it's probably a. So Blood Moon doesn't end up killing my Ursaluna, thankfully. I know my Ursaluna, my Raging Bolt, thankfully. So if they're gonna go for the kill, it has to be in the Volcanion here, which is good to know. We'd also scout for item, which is huge. Earth Power's gonna go off. Okay, that's fine. It's not Life Orb, so what is it? It's enough to kill still. That's what matters. Okay, and we do see Earth Power. That's fine. Okay. So this still works out pretty well, actually. My Ninetales should still outpace comfortably into a lot of this team. We're 162, so that means this Ursaluna needs to be in like the 80s to actually outpace me. It would need to have, specifically, it would need to have 82 speed, which means that we're actually looking into like an invested Ursaluna, which is pretty big. What I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna click Encore into the Ursaluna, and then I'm gonna proceed to click a Thunderbolt into the Furgraph. I don't really mind, actually, if it keeps a Citrus Berry proc. It's not really a big deal, actually, because all I need to do is lock this thing to Earth Power, because it'll kind of put it on a bit of pressure, and then I can just go for Blizzard Spam, which will be huge. So I'm okay with that, actually. I think it'll benefit me a lot more long term. So we'll see. The Ursaluna does get a kill into my Volcanion here. So that's fine. We'll just kind of have to hope, I guess. I should also jot down that Murkrow is Tailwind. That'll be important to know. And it is Prankster. Not that it was like a very big doubt, but it's so good to know, of course. We're gonna see Ferrograph has Hyper Voice, and it does actually outpace. And we're gonna see Blood Moon go off too. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so Blood Moon. That's perfectly fine. You can't click it next turn though, which is really big. That's a huge deal. We're going to just barely end up not killing it, which is fine. That's expected. Thankfully, my Kinkeldeo is Assault Vested, and my opponent cannot click their best move into it. So I should be pretty okay, actually, to just proceed to go for some high damage into the Ferrograph at least. Okay, let's see. So Ferrograph should still actually take a good amount from Low Kick. I mean, we'll probably actually kill it with Low Kick, so I'm going to go for that. And I'll go for a Thunderbolt into the Ursaluna this turn, which should be perfectly fine. We're going to see a Psychic go off. That's A-okay. We actually take that pretty well for an Assault Vest Psychic. Ooh, Moonblast. Okay, good to know. That will definitely kill. Okay. So for game 2, yeah, I think I'm going to go for Torn. I think Torn plus... Or I might actually go for... I might lead Sun. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go for Thunderbolt into the Ferrograph this turn, because I think my opponent's going to probably go for Protect here. Because they'll actually... Ooh, they actually guarantee a pretty good spot. Because they either guarantee Trick Room up, or they guarantee Tailwind up. And I think that's a loss, yeah. Ursaluna gets a kill. Yeah, Ursaluna gets a kill. It doesn't into my Raging Bolt. That's honestly fine. It's not going to matter a lot. Let's see. I gotta remember which Mon got the kill later on, but it's not gonna matter too much anyway. We'll go for Thunderclap and a Raging and Ursaluna just in case. Not that it really makes a difference, but just in case. We'll see Tailwind go off. Okay, cool. And then yeah, Ursaluna's gonna claim another kill. That's fine. And then yeah, we'll lose game 2. Okay. So for game number 3, I do think this time I actually do bring Tink. I talked myself out of it last time because I figured that like there's a lot of mons that actually counter it pretty well. But my opponent isn't really playing to respect Tink anyway. So I could probably just go for Tink. The Murkrow is Terra Ghost, but my opponent's not going to click Terra Ghost. And if they do, it actually helps me a lot anyway. So I think my plan is to lead off with Tink Volcanion. I think that will get me the best merit. And I proceed to go for Fake Out into the Murkrow. And then I kill the... Yeah, and then I proceed to kill the Typhlosion, or whatever mon leads next to it. And if that ends up being Ursaluna, then that's fine. We've seen Snarl and Tailwind now, which is good to note. Now, they could have Protect, to be fair. It's probably Protect Sunny Day. Is it Protect Sunny Day? No, they probably need Haze in case of, like, Calm Mind, because I have a lot of Calm Mind mons in this team. Or at least have Raging Bolt. We'll have to figure it out. We'll have to figure it out. Maybe I'm talking myself out of Tink. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. Okay, so for game number 3, we're seeing Great Tusk and Murkrow again. That's honestly fine. I'm not really too concerned with this lead, actually, because we know for a fact that Great Tusk is slower. On top of this as well, what I can actually go for, I can proceed to go for the Fake Out into the... So, actually, there's a pretty big predicament here, because if I go for Fake Out into the... So I could go for Fake Out on the Murkrow. I feel like Fake Out on the Murkrow is a pretty reasonable play. And then I proceed to just go for, like... Would the play be Terra Steel? No, it probably wouldn't be Terra Steel still. Because we know it's a Violet at least, so we don't have to worry about, like, Covert Cloak. I think it's just Steam Eruption the Great Tusk. No, it's Steam Eruption... How much does Steam Eruption do to the Murkrow? I think it's Steam Eruption into the Murkrow. Because I still have lines to kill Great Tusk if need be. I have... Yeah, it's Steam Eruption into the Murkrow. If my opponent's burning a Terra right now just to kill, then that's fine. But they're definitely going to protect. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I almost overthought that. That works out well, though. We're going to Fake Out the Murkrow at least. And then I'm going to probably just go hard into a Lily Ninetales on the following turn. Because I really doubt my opponent's going to click Sun. And I'll proceed to click Heat Wave as well, as a just in case. But that way then at least I'm kind of ready for whatever my opponent ends up doing this turn. I'm anticipating Tailwind, which is fine. At least I get some more fake out pressure later on from Tinkaton. But this also gives me burn chance, which is great. So we'll go back into Tinkaton. We'll double out into Unload Ninetales. And we're going to click Heat Wave. We're going to at least kill the Murkrow, which is huge. That Murkrow cannot go for Snarl anymore. It can't go for Tailwind anymore. They're going to at least get the Tailwind up, though, which is fine. We've at least put them on a bit of a timer. And I'll still have my Focus Sash intact, which is pretty big. Headlong Rush will go off. That's okay. My opponent's definitely saving that Terra. Ooh. Oof. Fuck. Oh, that's brutal. That is so brutal. Okay. We might be a little bit less okay. I don't actually know my line anymore. Okay. So, we definitely go into Raging Bolt, for sure. I think I just go for Thunderclap into the Murkrow, avoid it at least breaking my Sash, and then I just go for Blizzard. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I have to do. Like, I know that my opponent will probably click Sunny Day this turn to avoid both of those, but I really can't just lose that Focus Sash now that they do have Tailwind up. That would be, I think, a lot worse for my team overall than just letting them clear my weather, which will still suck. But I think I can at least maybe come back from that because of the Encore and screen support that I have for the Blood Moon route, and also the fact that I can still double around. But if my opponent isn't going to Terra Great Tusk, I just need it dead, and I can at least hopefully try and claim both with Murkrow dying as well if I can get a dual hit in. We're gonna see Sunny take off, that's fine. I just need to dual hit both of these. We just got crit through our Shuckabariamon that should have killed the Great Tusk. I think I'm owed. I think I'm owed a little bit. So I just need this. We're gonna see the attack raise, that's fine. That's honestly fine. I know, again, I know Thunderclap was going into a status move. I couldn't really justify anything else. Okay, cool. Defense is dropping yet again. That's fine. I just need to hit the Great Tusk. Again, it crit through my check to this. I just need to hit the Great Tusk. We're gonna miss the Great Tusk. Okay, great. Yeah, we lose the game. We lose the game. I can't actually beat that anymore. Because I needed to still go for Thunderclap into the Murkrow to avoid it going for Snarl and killing my Sash. Because if my opponent went for something like an Earthquake this turn, which they still haven't revealed that fourth move, kind of had to make that play to avoid losing my Ninetales before I did that. Yeah, now I just lose. I think I just lose now. Unless for some reason the Ursaluna was like speed tying us last turn. I guess I'll go for Protect, like just in case I can get like a double Protect here into a Draco into the Great Tusk Ursaluna. But like I don't really have a better play, and even then I'm just throwing out my Ninetales for like no reason. Yeah, Headlong Rush plus like Hyper Voice. Yeah, that's like basically Death Sentence. Yeah, there's not really a lot else I could do about that. Because I can't even double in this situation either. And if I have a situation with like Ninetales and Tinkaton on the field, my opponent just protects around the fake out, and then I'm back here anyway. So, yeah, I lost. Well, it is what it is. I mean, it happens. Oh, I guess I'll start wrapping up now because again, like there's nothing else really going to happen this game. Hopefully you guys do enjoy, and if you do, of course, like and subscribe for more. For week 6, I think we take on Joe UX9. I gotta double check that. I mean, I have time to double check it. I've already locked in my move, and frankly, my move doesn't matter at this point. I can't kill the Ursaluna. Let's see. Let's see. Who do I play week 6? Well, I guess for week 5 we take on Necro. I'm playing this out of order, but we take on Necro for week 5. So we'll be taking on her next week. So yeah, I don't know why I'm jumping the gun there, but yeah, for week 5 we'll be taking on Necro, and that should hopefully be a good game. With that said though, we're just gonna wait for this animation to play out, and we'll just hopefully get some kills in. Again, my opponent's just gonna play like Headlong. Yeah, okay, cool. I can't do anything about that. And then we'll just let my opponent kill me on the last turn with whichever Pokemon they want. Unless it's a Cloaker Saluna, which in that case, then they're just gonna kill me this turn. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, yeah, they'll kill me on the next turn. That's perfectly fine. Because again, I can't even kill the Ursaluna. And then, I mean, even outpacing, like I die to one of these. I have no spread move, and it's 2 ground types. So yeah, GG to Cloverbells. Best of luck in future weeks. and I will see you guys. I mean, I'll leave it right whenever the Raging Bolt dies, just to. Okay. I guess why not? Let's take away the kill count too while we're at it. Bye bye.